कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः परमव्योमभास्करः।
श्रीमते निगमान्त महादेशिकाय नमः। Aranya Kandam, a canto that is full of twists and turns. Here, after killing Viradha, after having obtained the blessings of the Maharishis, Rama, Lakshmana and Sita march to the banks of the river Godavari. After having constructed a hermitage and with the presumption that they will be living happily, they continue their exile in the forest. That is when all of a sudden there is an entry of a particular lady called Shurpanakha. She was a Rakshasa Stri. She was the sister to Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Vibhishana. Who says it? She introduces herself. Aham Shurpanakha nama Rakshasi Kamarupini Ravano nama me bhrata yadite shrotramágataha pravriddha nidrascha sada kumbhakarno mahabalaha. She also describes that one of my brothers called Kumbhakarna, who loves to sleep. Pravriddha nidrascha sada kumbhakarno mahabalaha vibhishanastu dharmatma Natu rakshasa cheshtitaha. Vibhishana, my brother who is a dharmatma, does not carry any of the traits that we Rakshasas generally carry. Natu rakshasa cheshtitaha. Then she proposes to Rama. Samupetasmi bhavena bhartaram purushottamam aham prabhava sampanna Swachhanda Balagamini. I would love to marry you. Then Chiraya Bhava Bharta Me Sitaya Kim Karishyasi Vikruta Cha Virupa Cha Naseyam Sadrushitava. What stops you from marrying me? Then she also suggests that upon marriage with Rama, both of them will be the best pair in the world. Now Rama, he is reluctant to accept Shurpanakha's proposal. He then suggests, now that she is not ready to leave the situation, is not able to understand what I am saying, he quietly shows his brother Lakshmana of great qualities. He says, Apurvi bharyaya charthi Tarunaha Priyadarshanaha. He is very young and handsome. Anurupaschate bharta rupasyasya bhavishyati Shriman akritadarascha Lakshmano nama viryavan. Here is my brother Lakshmana, a valorous person. Shriman akritadarascha, the one who doesn't have a wife. He says, Shriman, he is very prosperous. Akritadarascha, doesn't have a wife. Lakshmano nama viryavan, says Rama. Now, let us understand or investigate this particular scenario. Here is one lady who proposes to Rama. You cannot call that proposal completely wrong. Because if the lady likes the man or the vice versa, the man likes the woman, what is wrong in expressing the interest? So that is what Shurpanaka did. Whether she was a Rakshasa Stree, whether she was the sister to the tyrant king Ravana, whether she is from the neighboring country called as Lanka, all this doesn't matter. She liked Rama. She proposed to Rama. There was no harm. The problem began when Rama told her that he is already married and she insisted that he should marry her. This coaxing in love, which is fairly a beautiful emotion, is very detrimental to the society. We have seen plenty of cases in the past, in our medieval history, and in the current day scenario too, where such forcing, we use a word common in these days which is called blackmailing, where you threaten the other person. The man could do to the woman, or in certain cases the woman could do to the man, that you have to marry me. You have to be my better half. So this forcing, this coaxing is not very healthy even for that relationship. Forget the society and the country. Such coaxing will not blossom into genuine true love. And especially when it involves, in the current day scenario, at least in the Ramayana times, we didn't have that problem. In the current day scenario, when it also involves the question of religion, wherein one person of a religion forces the other person belonging to the other religion to marry, and that too upon marriage or for the marriage insists upon the conversion to that religion. All this is not healthy for that religion too, because religion is a path that should take the follower to God, should give that person bliss, be the he or she. Such forcing, such using such criminal ways of converting people will not yield any good, because any genuine person of any religion, follower of any religion, will genuinely desire that the followers of that religion should come out of their own, should come on their own, understand the philosophy, the tenets of that religion and start following. Such forcing, such luring, all this will not help. Now getting back to the scenario in Ramayana, Shurpanaka, upon understanding and told by Rama that he was already married, she insisted that she should marry him. So, her proposal to Rama was not a mistake at all, but her insisting upon him explaining that he was already married, that she should also marry him, was wrong. So, the first wrong was committed by Shurpanaka, no doubt. But does that give entitlement to Rama to utter something like this, wherein he suggests that his young, good-looking, valorous brother is unmarried? Should he lie? And should he first of all direct her to him? Is that the right way? If he had suggested that I am not ready to marry you, he was 100% right. Is it right to play with the emotions of people? These are questions that are raised by many astikas and many readers of the Ramayana. Very valid point. In two ways we need to understand. When we commit a crime for the first time, or we commit a mistake, and the opposite person retaliates to that mistake, we cannot insist on how that person should retaliate. When I have committed the mistake, when I know it is a mistake and I have knowingly committed the mistake, I cannot advise the other person, suggest or command the other person, see, I have committed the mistake. You can retaliate, but do it only within this limit. We cannot suggest that, because the mistake has been committed first from our side. Similarly, Shurpanaka made a very, very low class attempt when he suggested he was married to insist that he should marry her. So this was a mistake committed by Shurpanaka. So first of all, she doesn't have, or anybody doesn't have the right to tell what Rama and what intensity he should reply. That said, we also need to understand that Paramatma, as per Ramayana, Pitaram Rochayamasa Tatha Dasharatham Drupam, he chose to be a normal individual, a mortal like you and me. In such a scenario, we may not follow rules. Even the people in our world, in the family circle that we know, in the friend circle that we know, who follow rules till the T, they will follow every possible rule. They will also, if you go ask them quietly, have they adhered to every rule? They'll say, more or less I follow rules. 1 or 2 places I may exceed. I may go in a wrong direction for about 10 feet. Otherwise, I have to take a long turn. I may have to do this. So, if you ask someone, they will say that 100% they don't follow rules. They try their level best. Similarly, a human, how he behaves is Rama. So, we cannot expect that 100% demeanor at all points of time. So, he playfully suggested go to Lakshmana. In case we have to academically evaluate, critically analyze Ramayana, then probably this situation could have been avoided by Rama. There was no need for him to say, go to my brother. That was not required. But Rama said, go to my brother. Apurvi bharyaya charthe tarunaha priyadarshanaha anurupascha te bharta rupasyasya bhavishyati shriman akritadarascha lakshmano nama viryavan. Now, fine sir, she did the first mistake. Rama retaliated. He said, you go to my brother Lakshmana. That is also acceptable. But how could he tell Shurpanaka, Akritadarascha, go to my brother who doesn't have a wife? Urmila was hale and healthy in Ayodhya. Many years had passed since their marriage. How could Rama commit this crime? You cannot call it a slip of the tongue, sir. Why did he knowingly lie? So we say, Ramo dvirnabhivashate. Rama has never spoken untruth. Then what is this, you may ask? Remember, all these incidents that have happened have been codified in the form of poetry for us by Valmiki. He has given it in a Padyam format. Padyam is poetry. One, because poetry is that which can be sung. It can always be fixed to talam. So you can call it Adi Talam, you can call it Rupakam, you can call it Mishra, you can call it Khanda Chapu, Eka Talam. So you can always fix it to a talam. So when you fix it to a talam, rendition is very easy. When rendition and talam is easy, remembrance is easy. So he has given it to us in the form of poetry, not prose. When it is in the form of poetry, the poetic license can be utilized and the rules of poetry have to be complied with. In certain scenarios, to fit into the meter, certain obvious things can be conveyed by removing 1 or 2 letters. This is a general rule in Indian poetry. In the Tamil poetry, when the Alvar describes Lord, he says Kunda. He calls the Lord Kunda. The commentator asks, there is no word called Kunda for the Lord. So he says, since he had to fit into the meter, the Alvar says Kunda, add mu or vai before that. If you add vai, it becomes Vaikunda, which means the one who stays in Vaikuntham. Or if you add mu, it becomes Mukunda, the one who gives moksha. So this rule is there in poetry. Now how is this rule used? Rama says Akritadarascha. He doesn't have a wife. Now what letter can I add to make it the truth? Next episode. Dear Astika reader, I am happy to be authoring a 2-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.